Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is getting roasted for attending a $30,000 per ticket event, the Met Gala, while wearing a dress that reads "Tax the Rich." In fact, right now on Twitter, hypocrisy is trending. Now, AOC's explanation for all of this is that members of New York City's political class are often invited to these events because it's part of their responsibility to track and uphold cultural institutions of New York City. I think of it another way. It's a bribe. It's a bribe. If AOC didn't pay for this herself, she took a bribe. You think I'm not playing games. Look, I can respect being like, I'm going to crash this event and say tax the rich. I can respect someone being like, yo, let's raise a bunch of money and then go tell all these rich people what they can do with it. To an extent, there's something there. Activists do these, they'll crash events all the time. But AOC says that she's invited. If that's the case, ultra rich people inviting politicians into their extremely expensive events is a gift of $30,000. And I fully expect AOC to pay taxes on that $30,000 gift, right? Yeah, probably not. You see, look, a lot of people are saying it's hypocrisy for her to go to this event wearing a dress that says tax the rich. And I'm like, not completely. Not completely. Like I said, there are circumstances in which I think it would be appropriate. And perhaps it's a normal thing that they invite all of these New York politicians to come and do it. And she was like, I'm going to show them what for. The only issue is she wasn't. She wasn't there, smirking at people and pointing them out and saying, She's smiling. She's partying. She's modeling for the camera. And they're like, wow, what a great dress. And the political elite and the wealthy elites of New York are saying, yeah, you go, girl. We love it. Meanwhile, you'll notice you can see the truth here. Was AOC going to this event to tell the wealthy elites where they can put their money? No, she was going there to be part of it. And perhaps this was just her excuse to be like, this is why I went to the event. You see, in this photo from CNN, AOC is not wearing a mask. Why not? The only people at the Met Gala, apparently, I should say, in most of the photos you'll see, the workers are all wearing masks. The celebrities and the wealthy elites are not. And I think that's more indicative of who AOC aligns herself with. If she really cared about COVID and the working class, she would be wearing a mask just like they are. Instead, she's attended this event as a celebrity for free. That's a tax-free gift? No, I don't think so. That is taxable revenue. She is getting marketing value from this. She's being featured in the press. She absolutely should have to pay taxes on that $30K, which I doubt she will, and I doubt anyone would go after her. Here's CNN. AOC wears major political statement to the Met Gala. Look at this photo. Tax the rich. Smiling. You'll notice in the background of these photos, you see all these journalists and waiting staff all wearing masks, not the celebrities. Congressman AOC took to the 2021 Met Gala on Monday evening with a bright red message for Americans: tax the rich. What does that mean? Tax them on what? I'm sick and tired of the empty platitudes, of the tribalism that we see from the left in a lot of ways. Look, there is an opposite version of what the left is on the right. It's just fringe and without institutional power. I would often see many on the left, and I'd ask them quite simply, okay, tax the rich. I'm down. I agree, actually. Tax them where? I can wait. I have time. Yeah, tax what? Are you saying increase capital gains tax? Are you saying increase corporate tax? Are you saying a higher tax income bracket? Okay, well, if you want to start with any of these things, how about we reappropriate tax funding from, overseas military budgets? Start there first. Why do we need to constantly keep increasing taxes when your actual issue is, hey, we should provide services to the American people? And I'm like, okay, well, let's start with reappropriating the war budget. You agree with me? All right. How about instead of making a dress that says tax the rich, we say stop funding wars? You'd agree with that too. Okay, I'm down. You see, the issue is tax the rich is a meaningless slogan. When the left comes out and says tax the rich, I tell you this, income tax will not change this. Capital gains tax will not change this, especially in the digital age. It is a meaningless statement pushed by people who don't understand how taxes work. Just the other night, we were talking about estate taxes on the Timcast IRL members only podcast. Go to timcast.com if you want to check it out. And it's very, very simple, right? When they say, okay, if you die, we take half your money the death tax or whatever. And then your kids and your family only inherit half, even though it's already been taxed. Double taxation, they say. So what do rich people do? Put it all in a nonprofit. Start a 501c3 nonprofit, donate your money, write off the taxes. The nonprofit doesn't pay. Make your children board members where they can spend that money as they see fit, pay themselves salaries, and congratulations, you've dodged the death tax. I think it's wrong to avoid taxes. But the point I'm bringing up is AOC and the left pushing this message. It doesn't solve anything. When they increase taxes on corporations, what do the corporations do? They move overseas. When Joe Biden says we're going to have a free trade, we're going to reduce taxes on imports, but we're going to increase taxes and wages here in this country, they just leave. It decimates the working class and it decimates the manufacturing base. Well, AOC is getting roasted for this. And let's talk about how AOC is effectively like, I was thinking about this. The Met Gala really does come off to me like the Capitol in the Hunger Games. Remember, have you seen the movie? Where it's like you got all these different districts of poor people to varying degrees. And then in the Capitol, people drink Ipecac to vomit so they can eat more food. That's part of the movie. I guess they're all dressed very strangely and partying and celebrating in the Capitol while all of the people in the other districts are oppressed, suppressed, and doing hard manual labor in coal mines. At least that's the main character. It's a district, Katniss. And I saw this and I was like, you know what AOC is? She's a victor. She's a victor, right? So in the Hunger Games, I think it's every year they take, I don't know how many, I'm not a big fan. Like I'm not a big fan who's tracked the whole thing, but I've seen the movies. They take 2 young people from each district. So I think that's like 24 kids. And they make them fight to the death. And the one person who wins is still a poor person, but they get paraded around the Capitol as a celebrity, as a victor, appearing on TV shows. And I'm like, that's what AOC is. She claims to be working class. And you know what? Let me pull up what she said. Let me just show you what she said on Twitter. The medium is the message. She posted this photo of her with the tax the rich dress. She wrote, proud to work with Aurora James as a sustainably focused black woman immigrant designer who went from starting her dream, Brother Avelis, at a flea market in Brooklyn to winning the CFDA against all odds, and then worked together to kick open the doors at the Met. Kick open the doors! Brilliant. The time is now for childcare, healthcare, and climate action for all. Tax the rich. She said, and before haters get wild, flying off the handle, New York elected officials are routinely invited to and attend the Met due to our responsibilities in overseeing and supporting the city's cultural institutions for the public. I was one of several in attendance in this evening. Oh, that explains it. $30,000 gift. Pay your taxes on it. You want to talk about taxing the rich? Boom, right there with you. How about this? Capital gains tax, very specific. So here's what I'm saying. Joe Biden wants to raise capital gains tax. Okay, I'm totally down. Let's make it focused and specific. We don't want to raise capital gains on, say, 401ks. We don't want to raise capital gains on retirement accounts. But day traders, okay, I'm down with saying if your job doesn't produce anything for society, we're going to tax you a little bit on this one. Capital gains isn't income tax, so it's not taxed the same as other income. It's different. So I'm down for that conversation. I'm down to say, you know what? How about we increase the amount of tax brackets we have? You want to talk about taxing the rich? I say this. You make more than $5 million. We start increasing taxes proportionally up to a particularly high amount at a very, very high level. So long as we have people who are worth billions of dollars, we should consider, increasing tax brackets within reason. I don't know what the number is. I don't think it's 70%, maybe 55. And I'll tell you this, my friends, this is not me being a hypocrite because people are going, Tim, you're rich. Well, yes, I am. I am well off. I am wealthy, and I am fine with higher taxes on the wealthy, 100%. I do not like the disproportionate power we see from Michael Bloomberg and his other people just dumping money into the system to get guns banned and things like that. Now, my arguments have been countered by many people on Timcast IRL saying that's leftist propaganda, and we should allow those of great merit and wealth the ability to influence the system as they see fit. And I disagree. I just don't agree with that message. Sorry, I'm not an ANCAP. I think the problem is that power coalesces and that if people like Bezos had their way, they'd nuke the system. Obviously, Bezos doesn't want to destroy everything, or Zuckerberg, because they operate within it and they're made wealthy by the actions of individuals who utilize their systems. I just don't like I don't like centralized authority. I don't like that over time we see Amazon just dominate. Then what ends up happening is as malls suffer and mom and pop shops close down because of COVID, because of government action, Amazon just rakes in the cash. Now, I don't know what the exact answer to the problem is. I can just say, be it the government or corporations, centralized power is a bad thing. And so we should create means by which we knock it down a little bit. Ocasio-Cortez, you want to tax the rich? Let's start with your $30,000 gift you were given when you were allowed to attend this event that none of us could unless we paid up 30 grand. That ticket is worth 30 grand. It was given to you and you better pay your taxes on it. Now, AOC, at last I checked, presumably has a negative net worth, probably because of school loans or something like that. She makes $174,000 a year. And she has between $15,000 and $50,000 in debt, I believe, in her last financial disclosure form, which means she probably has a negative net worth. Okay, I'm not going to pretend she's ultra rich, but I will say, if you are given $30,000 in value, be it a car or otherwise, you owe taxes on that. Is she going to now file the taxes on that? Of which for this and her current income bracket, I'd imagine she'd have to pay, 30 or so percent. 10 grand, pony up, pay it up. Why should we have the working class be the ones, paying the taxes, being the ones excluded from these events, being the ones forced to lock down their businesses, losing their jobs, being told they have to wear masks, but you get to go to hoity-toity high-end events, party with celebrities. Meanwhile, you're like, oh, I'm doing it because it's activism. No, you're a victor. You come from humble beginnings, and I can respect that. I think it's silly when people criticize AOC for being a bartender. I think that's wonderful and fantastic. The thing is, you know what we like about Katniss Everdeen in the Hunger Games is that she hated all of these people. She hated all of it. She wanted to be with her family. She didn't want to be in the Hunger Games. She didn't want to be a victor. She didn't want to be in the Capitol dancing around wearing these clothes. She hated it. And there were other people who were like, just do what you're supposed to do. Just dance for the elites. AOC is complicit. She is not protesting anything saying tax the rich. It's meaningless. No. She received free money to go to a celebrity event, to laugh and smile with all these people, and that's what she did. Let me show you some of these photos coming out. We have this one, just direct criticism. Her laughing and smiling, wearing tax the rich. She's not wearing a mask. She's having a good time. And these people like her doing this. Her message, it's meaningless to them. No rich person is scared of the rich being taxed. It's just not true. The left will be like, we got to tax the rich. And the rich are like, dude, you do not know the ways in which we can circumvent your stupid taxes. Jeff Bezos, how much money does he make per year? What do you think his salary is? $83,000 a year. You think I'm kidding? His total income with bonuses is estimated, the last time I reported on this was a couple of years ago, was about $1 million per year. Hey, not bad. It's a lot of money. So with incentives from the company and with his salary, about $1 million. Now, his stock is worth a whole lot of money, and that's where his net worth really is. So when he sells it, sure, there's capital gains, but tax the rich. What does it mean, and how are you going to do it? And what's to stop Bezos from being like, I'm going to move my corporate headquarters to Ireland or the Bahamas or St. Kitts and Nevis or whatever island where I can avoid paying taxes? They do it all the time. Not only that, what's to stop him from saying, I'll create a 501c3 and donate all of my money so I can write it off on the taxes and then store it in an entity that can't be taxed? They come out and they say, tax the churches. And I'm like, churches are just nonprofits. They're functionally the same. A 501c3 can engage in politics, don't got to pay taxes. I don't see you coming out and saying tax Greenpeace. That's right. If it's a leftist cause, they want to tax. If it's a church, because they're empty, mindless platitudes. The event is invite only, and the guest list is vetted by Vogue editor-in-chief Anna Wintour. There's a waiting list to get on the list, and to qualify, you need to have Kylie Jenner-level buzz in the fashion world. Wintour has final say on every attendee, so even if a company buys a table, it can't choose everyone who sits there. Tickets for the event cost about $30,000 or $275,000 for a table. Let me remind you, AOC did not go to this event alone. She went there. Let me see. Where's that photo? She went there with this other woman. Oh, actually, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she didn't go there. I thought she was there with isn't this the woman? Maybe I'm getting it wrong. Yeah, I thought that was, oh, look at this. This is so creepy. Even in the photo of them trying the dress on, the woman is wearing a mask and AOC isn't. This is what they really want. This is the world that they're striving for. The elites are privileged. Here you go. Okay, so wait, is that the same woman? Okay, so I don't think this woman is with AOC. I'm not sure. She's holding a microphone for Vogue, so maybe she just works at Vogue. So I apologize for the error. Wocal Distance says, my son is 7 and has to wear a mask at school for 8 hours every day. Here's the best part. Someone responded, so do all the other servants. And there you can see all of the people working the event. They have to wear masks. Here's let me pull up some more. Matt Walsh says, nothing says modern leftism like a bunch of rich elitists at a $30,000 per ticket gala walking around in hideous designer dresses with empty political slogans emblazoned across them while an adoring press looks on and drools into their face muzzles. Peg the Patriarchy says, is that Cara Delevingne? I don't know. You look behind her. Here's a guy who's wearing a mask. That's right. If you're working the event, if you're a journalist, if you're press, got to wear your mask. Celebrities, they don't have to. They're rich. Rich people are better than us poor people. Okay, I know. I'm well off. Here you can see more press all wearing their masks. This woman wearing the thing that says, rights, equal rights for women. It's like, and tax the rich. And guess who doesn't have to wear a mask? But everybody else does. Now, there is something magical happening outside of all of this hypocrisy. I'll end on this stuff with saying simply, like, I don't mind a good protest where you show up and you mock these people, whatever. You want to talk about a real protest? Here's what I'd do. If I got invited to the event, I'd show up, and you know what I would wear? Street clothes. In fact, I'd go to a thrift store and buy garbage clothes. And then I would go around, and every statement I'd give is, the people here spend money on ridiculous things for ridiculous reasons. AOC wants to complain about the ultra rich buying ultra rich garbage. Meanwhile, she goes to an event with a bunch of people who have insanely expensive trash and are exempt from the rules. Sorry, that is hypocrisy. You want to say tax the rich? Don't get a fancy dress made that says tax the rich that probably costs thousands of dollars. I wonder how much it costs to make that. She got her friend to do it. Still, people have their labor costs money. Perhaps it was, look, they specially made this thing. I would imagine it costs thousands of dollars, but maybe I'm wrong. Either way, she's there as an invitee, having a good time, partying. I think the tax the rich thing was just an excuse so that she could be like, but I was protesting. Sure. And her sycophants will just play into it. But I want to show you something that's really fascinating. Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is quite certainly famous. She has 22 million followers. And we have this news article from Variety. Nicki Minaj says she isn't attending the Met Gala because of vaccination requirement. Nicki says, never said this. Glad all my tweets were left up on it. That's right. Nicki Minaj said that she didn't want, I'll come to that one later. She didn't want to attend the event. Maybe it's over here. Here's what she said. Someone said Nicki's last public appearance was over a year ago. And Nicki Minaj said, I have an infant with no nannies during COVID. Who mad? Not risking his health to be seen. Won yourself. Nicki Minaj said, I'm not going out to events because I have a kid. She just had the kid, and she's posted photos and videos or whatever and audio of, I don't think she's posted photos and videos. She posted like audio of the baby. I don't know if she wants to show her baby. Celebrities typically try to protect their kids. What do we get from the media? Oh, they lie. Nicki Minaj won't get vaxxed, says she's worried about swollen testicles. She didn't say that. She did have a funny tweet telling a story about her cousin in Trinidad who said they knew someone who became impotent, but that's just someone tweeting. She said, please show me where I said I'm worried about anything. This is what the media does. Here's 3 stories. Nicki Minaj says she refused to get vaccinated for the Met Gala. Fans respond with research. Nicki Minaj says she's skipping the Met Gala over its vaccine requirement. Nicki Minaj won't get vaxxed, says she's worried about swollen testicles. Nicki says, 3 lies in a row from huge news platforms. I cited my young child as why I didn't want to travel, but notice how none of them mentioned that. Ask yourself why that was. To which Michael Malice responds, the corporate press is the enemy of the people. And someone said, Nicki on the wrong side when the far right is on your side. On the wrong side? What do you mean she's on the wrong side? Nicki Minaj did not say she was skipping the event over the vaccine requirements. In fact, she said she would get vaccinated and she recommended people do it. But that's not punchy. That's not going to generate rage. So how is Nikki on the wrong side when she's in favor of vaccination, recommending vaccination, and says she doesn't want to travel because she has a new baby? She's being told she's on the wrong side. You see how the game is played? It's what I was talking about the other day with Bill Maher. You know, Bill Maher said, why am I always, people keep saying, why you criticize the left too much? Well, it's because they're embarrassing me. Maybe people will finally start to wake up to this. Nicki Minaj isn't on the wrong side. Nicki Minaj quite literally said she supports the vaccine, but the media lied about her anyway. And now because Nicki is saying, hey, they're lying about me, they're like, you're on the wrong side. So what is Nicki Minaj supposed to do? Come out and be like, yes, it's all true. Everything they're saying is true. I submit. No, they lied. That's the world. If you don't just defend the lies about you and accept what they say about you, well, you're the bad person. She said, here's a tweet where she says, I recommend they get the vaccine. They have to feed their families. I'm sure I'll be vaccinated as well because I have to go on tour. Welcome, now the game is played. Nicki Minaj now realizing it. Now, to be fair, Nicki also had a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't show on YouTube, talking about Joy Reid being a liar, because this is what the media does. These establishment players want to make money. It's some grand conspiracy. You know, a lot of people think it is. No, it's decay. It's cultural decay. It's behavioral sink. Nicki Minaj says the Met wanted people to be vaccinated. You know, I'm sure I'll get vaccinated. Someone said you haven't been in appearances. Well, I got a new kid, so I'm not traveling. And then they said she's worried about swollen testicles because she told a story about her cousin. And they're trying to squeeze whatever they can out of her tweets to create a narrative. And that narrative is simply because she told a funny story about her cousin, like kind of a scary story, to be honest. That means she is an anti-vaxxer. Because she said that she doesn't want to travel with her kid, that one's irrelevant. We'll ignore that one. Because she said the Met required vaccination, they're saying, well, that clearly must be the reason, even though she didn't say it. You know, maybe deep down she was like, she didn't want to go get vaccinated, so she didn't go. Or maybe when she posted the audio of her very young baby, she wants to spend time with her kid. Look, Nicki's rich. She doesn't have to work. And so she's like, she has a gift. She can be like, I got a kid. I'm going to stay with my kid. Why would you want to go to the Met Gala over being with your child? You see how the media plays it. Swollen testicles. Welcome to the game, Nicki. Sorry they're lying about you, but this is how it works. And when someone comes to your defense and says, you're right, the media's lying, they say Nicki's on the wrong side, not because of who she agreed with, but because someone agreed with her. You see how that plays out? Let me just make sure I can make this clear for y'all. You know Nicki on the wrong side when the far right on your side. Nicki said something to which Michael Malice made a statement. Nicki didn't come out and say, I agree with this group of people for these things. She came out and said, they lied about me. But because someone on the right agreed with her, that means Nicki is now on the wrong side. Politics only flows in one direction. You see how that works? I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.